Hey you guys, I'm back! Today we are going to be learning about Shakespeare. I'm kidding. Today I'm going to do a flip through for you guys of a journal that I just finished a few days ago. It is the journal from the Garden Grimoire swap on Junk Journal Junkies. I was asked by a friend of mine who is an absolutely lovely and insanely talented lady. Her name is Priscilla, and she is also in the group. She asked me to do a personal swap instead because she is just like me. We're a little slow with our journal making right now. So in order to not have the time restraints for the journals, we decided to do a personal swap, which I was so excited about because, like I said, she makes absolutely beautiful things. So let's move him out of the way. Today, you guys get to see this absolute behemoth monster of a journal. I'm going to film this in two parts. I think I'll just go through the first two signatures and then do a separate video as a part 2 where I'll go through the rest of the journal. Excuse me. So I have Shakespeare here to help me prop this book up so you guys can see, because it's so huge and I didn't intend for it to happen this way. But yeah, the pages kind of had more page babies and it multiplied on me, and it grew and grew and grew until it became this just huge monster of a book. So that's it. Here it is. So the cover is made from a really thick file folder that I covered in this gorgeous faux leather. And I got this at Walmart, you guys. It was part of some clearance sale that they were doing a while back with some of their fabrics, at least my way. And I got it for a great deal, and it feels amazing, and it's so beautiful. And so I used that to cover the file folder. There is a 3-inch spine. Yes, I deviated from my original, my original 2 1/4 inches. So, yeah. So there's a 3-inch spine for signatures. There's this really chunky charm. Like I said in my other video, I make them a lot bigger now. I have a lot of fun with charms. I really enjoy making them. So there are these beautiful feathers. I made 2 of those, and there are 2 of these little bottles. This is fairy dust, you guys. That's what it looks like. And then the other bottle is down here, and it has a mix of wildflower seeds with a couple of teeny tiny leaves inside. And then I just used a bunch of really pretty glass beads. There's some metal pieces and metal beads, some dragonflies, there's little mushrooms, wings, some of those brass bells that I have, a little safety pin. There's a dragonfly at the bottom. So I'll just leave him off. So won't be jingling and jangling everywhere. Okay, so for the closure, I made these 2 straps. I really wanted to try this out, and I don't know how great of a job I did. I think it's okay, but because this journal is so insanely huge, it pulls on them, and so they don't stick down like I really wanted them to. But anyway, I had originally planned for this journal to have this part right here was going to be a flap over the front, and since it grew, and thankfully I made the cover so that I could accommodate for things like that, because I know myself and I know that my journals have a tendency to grow. So thankfully I did that. But for these straps, I just drew out a design that would work for me to be able to use the metal parts, which are actually Tim Holtz book corners. So I just drew out the design for the straps so that I could incorporate those, because I really wanted to have some metal pieces on the end. And book corners worked out fantastic. So it's 2 pieces of the fabric over some file folder, and I sewed around the edges, which I couldn't believe I actually was able to do, but I did. And that makes up the straps, which are attached in the back. Uh-oh, no, we're losing things here. So they attach with Velcro on the front, and I have edged everything with this Prima Art Alchemy Metallic Wax and Vintage Gold, which Priscilla sent to me when she sent my journal. Thank you, Priscilla. I love this stuff, you guys. It smells amazing. It smells amazing, and the consistency is quite different from Inca Gold, and I really enjoy using it. So on the front here, I have this stick that I found one day, and I knew that I would use it for something. I just really liked the way that it looked, and so I broke it so that it would fit this area here, and I've wrapped it with raffia, leaf trims, different trims, and then I just added a bunch of things on there. Excuse me, there's charms, mushrooms and leaves and flowers and buttons. This is a large leaf button, and then I made these 2 little, I guess they're like tassels with some scrap pieces of different fabrics. There's some sari silk and like some cheesecloth and stuff. And this guy right here was attached down here, so I'll have to fix that. And then this one says Discoveries, because this is a garden grimoire, and you know, a grimoire is a book of spells and incantations, but for the garden, you know, you would think of spells for the garden. And so the direction that I went is actually a little different from what I had planned. I planned for it to be sort of like a field notes type of thing, but I ended up going more whimsical with it, which I think is fine because there are lots of little magical creatures in here, and also lots of flowers and insects and things like that. So let's open her up. Whoa! Yeah, it's very large. Indeed, it's a monster. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I don't know why I always do that when I get on film. So the front cover, you guys, I had so much trouble trying to get these little Velcro pieces to work. I wanted it to be easy for her to open and close it, and it ended up working out, thank goodness. But it took me like 2 days to figure out the best thing for it, and I ended up gluing them on with glossy accents because the first time I did it, they came off. And then I sewed into them like you would attach a button. So I did the crisscross, and then so I need to cover these with something. So in the front is a library card and pocket, which I ended up leaving blank. A little bit of lace trim here, and this is a bookmark that I made for her from some of the extra paper that I had from the paper collection I used, which is Graphic 45's Nature Sketchbook. And there are a few other things in here, and then also this one paper of cutouts of fairies, and all of these are from 49 and Market, which was a page gifted to me by my friend April. Thank you, April. I love these. I love them so much. This is a little doily envelope that I've made, and it contains, if I can get it out, it's the title card. I always like to include a tag or a little card for the title, so I stamped these out and added some little fern leaves. This is my artist signature, and then on the back I've signed it. It says uniquely handmade for Priscilla, who is my swap partner. And I just got these stamps from Miss Lori Jagadish, who is the Everyday Journal on Etsy, and Lori, just a girl from the Bay, on YouTube. She has become a good friend of mine, and she is just such a sweet and generous and thoughtful lady. And she sent me some stamped images, which was really very sweet of her. So thank you, Lori, so much for that. So first we have this sheer brown, like crinkly fabric. I know it's probably hard for you guys to tell. I got this from April as well, who is PinkOddBird here on YouTube. She makes absolutely beautiful journals. So she was kind enough to send me some amazing stuff for my birthday. Thank you, April. Thank you so much. I've been using them a lot. So the first page is sort of like a title page. I added this image, and I was originally going to put the title here, but I thought I'd just leave it for her if she wanted to write something on it. So there are some gold leaf trim that I've sewn onto the edge, and some ribbon on this side, and little safety pin with some beads and a button. This is the title page from the Graphic 45 collection. It's so beautiful. I hated to cut this paper. I hated it. Excuse me. It's coffee dyed paper, a little tuck, and some ruffled tracing paper that I've sewn on. It's just got an extra sheet of paper. This is another little stamped image that April sent. And just one of these little things with butterflies. And all of these that are black, these images throughout the book, because I've used them throughout the book, they're not stamps, they're actually rub-ons. And it is from the new line by Seven Gypsies, which is called Architectures. Oh, they're fabulous. These rub-ons are probably some of the best ones I've ever used, you guys. They're amazing. They come, that's the cover I want to show you guys. In the collection that I used, let's see, it just says parchment rub-on. It doesn't say the name, but it does have a number, so there's the number if you guys are interested. Excuse me. It comes on this really huge sheet of parchment paper, and so I ended up cutting it into 4 so it would be easier to manage, but it's got these just really awesome rub-ons. There's huge ones and teeny ones, and they're like butter. Like butter. They come off like butter. They're really, really nice. They're good to use. Excuse me. They're fun to use, and they're really good quality. So here's a lined paper, glassine envelope with a made journal card. And I stapled, I don't know how great of an idea it was to do this, but I stapled a feather onto the bag, and it's kind of just flipping and flopping everywhere. And let's see, here is a tracing paper pocket that I made. I made quite a few of these to go throughout the book, and I have encased inside of it some definitions of different words from vintage dictionaries that I have, and this one just happens to be Lepidopterus, which is the group of butterflies and moths and insects like that. So throughout the book, I have used different definitions that coincide with the theme, but also some magical creatures like fairies, elves, hobgoblins, things like that. Here's just a tuck, some banners, and a little mushroom, and more definitions. This is definition for herb. That's just extra writing paper there. This is from a textbook that I found from the 70s. It's a biology textbook. I have 2 of them. And this is the actual size of the paper, which I love. And this has got diagrams of butterflies and a piece of lace stapled to the top. On the other side, it's like there's a tab, and then there's like a sideways tippin'. I didn't want to cover up the text on the back because it talks about the development of a butterfly. So I just added this little tip-in, and then there's like a little secret writing page here. This is some crinkled coffee dyed computer paper. It's a little half page tuck spot. And this page I just stacked 3 small coin envelopes, and they are empty, but she can put inside anything she wants. And I just used a stencil with some distress ink, and these are little rub-ons of ants. How cute! Aren't they cute? Little ants climbing up the page. Excuse me. The other side, there's a paper ruffle that I've sewn on. and a pocket with this fairy journal card. And this pocket, this is something I really like to do. I will find fabrics with, you know, prints of different images on them, and I found this fabric with all these leaves, and I cut out the leaves individually and made a few pockets out of them, and I love the effect of it. It feels nice, and I think it looks really neat, and because it frays, it looks, you know, it looks old, and I just glued some of that gold leaf trim across the top. See, here's some mushrooms, another fabric ruffle, some little bugs there. Here's a little pocket here with a perpetual calendar that Dolly sent to me. Thank you, Dolly. It's a little image of a leaf. A mushroom on the other side. Some lined writing paper. Some stamping at the bottom. And it's got a flap that folds out this. And I just tucked this handmade tag inside for extra writing. And these are the first times I've ever embossed anything. I just now got a heat gun, like literally like a week ago. And the lady that I'm doing the swap with, my friend Priscilla, she sent me some embossing powders because she knew that I was planning on getting a heat gun, and so that really prompted me to go ahead and get it, you know. And thank you so much, Priscilla, because I've been having so much fun learning how to emboss. It's something I've always wanted to do, and now I can. Thank you. So I've just got sewing some little leaves down the edge and another fairy. Coffee dye tracing paper. There's a decoupaged dragonfly here with a lace tab, and my little buddy has come to join us, if you can hear them. It's my kitty. He likes to hang out too. And then I have made a bunch of these little tags using their card collector, you know, the card sleeves that you use for pocket letters. So I cut each little sleeve out individually, and my son helped me pick some different flowers and such, and I pressed them and dried them out, and then I just put them in the little sleeves and sewed them together. And I've added a tab here for convenience of pulling it out. I was very highly inspired by a lady named Jibid, who is an insanely talented lady here on YouTube. She inspires me so very much. Her journals are just, they speak to me. You know, you'll find an artist who just, they speak to your soul, and her journals just speak to me, and they inspire me so much. So I was very inspired by her vellum tags and such to create things like this for this journal. It's another definition for a botanical. Better hurry it up here. It's a little spiderwick creature. It's a belly band on this manila envelope with a Hermelinda tag for extra writing. I love these tags so much. It was such a genius design. Inside is just some extra writing space, and I've sewn some of this green leaf trim and added a little safety pin here with a little bead. And these are stamps from April. Thank you, April. Some ledger paper. This is a very fragile dictionary page here, but I liked it because of the images that are on it. And so I sort of made this little fold out with a secret pocket inside. It's just got a tag with another rub on. And this is tracing paper where I've encased some of the gold leaf trim, some of this stuff. So I just encased it inside like I did with the flowers, and stamped on the top with some of the new oxide distressed ink, and I think that's peeled paint. And I love the way it looks. It's just a little image glued to the bottom of the page. These are copies of some vintage children's encyclopedias that I have. They just have such beautiful images, and of course I wanted to keep the pages, so I thought I would print them out. This envelope, oh my goodness, it gave me a lot of trouble, but I really love this pattern paper, and I thought it went perfectly with these images here. So I don't know what I was thinking when I used this particular stitch, but I wasn't thinking. And I'm still learning, so I learned my lesson, and it kind of just, the paper was falling apart. So I've reinforced the entire inside just about with this washi tape. And inside is just a, let's see, what's this? Common ground goblin. It's another spiderweb creature. And on the back of this envelope, I have cut out some of a 12 by 12 decorative paper. I made a pocket, and there's another small envelope inside. The little journal tag. And I sprayed it up and inked it with some gold and stuff. It just tucks in there. It's a little, another banner tuck with a journal card, graphic 45. There's the other half of that dictionary page. I just stapled some lace and feathers to the top. This is a coffee filter double pocket here. Just an index card and one of the little freebie tags from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. Excuse me, I added some line paper on the back, and this is another little spiderweb creature. Other half a manila envelope with some writing space, and I added a little tab here. On the other side, there's an applique flower that I dyed. Another stamp. There's some extraordinary beetles, it says. It's a little tuck with this little lady. And on a lot of these journal cards, I added these. Oh no. Sounds like they're about to start doing work outside. I'm so sorry. I added these little word stickers from Tim Holtz, the new ones. And this one says, she was wishing. She looks like she's wishing, doesn't she? This stamp right here, this was gifted to me by April. Excuse me. Writing space, tracing paper. Fold out here. Some little... Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had a visitor. Here we have another little tuck spot, and this is coffee dyed parchment paper, I believe. A little stamp here, and on this side is a double pocket with a piece of muslin, and this is vellum that I've dyed with, I believe it's the walnut spray, walnut stain. This little card with some ferns backed onto a bingo card. On this page, there's a tuck here, another journal card, some extra writing paper, and this folds down. It's one of the trifolds for writing space, and it tucks into this butterfly, which is actually a sticker from Martha Stewart, I believe. Some trim on the edge of the page, and let's make this guy now. This is a pocket that I've made from a book page that I gessoed and sewed together, and then I stamped and added some of the Distress Oxide, and inside is just this paper that I had dyed for the journal, but it came out really, really dark. But I thought I'd just add a piece because I think it looks pretty cool and old, and it's got a really, really neat texture to it. And on this half page, I've done like a collage of different images. This is from the 49 and Market paper with the fairies. It's an image from the internet, and these I fussy cut from some pattern papers, just some acorns and a bulb. On this side, there's like a coin pocket that I made from this pattern paper, and flips up, and there's a journal card inside with a little tab. It's a little bird, and on the back it says, and let it fly away, because the bird's on the lady's hand. I thought that was cute. And it's also a little secret tuck, and this is the bottom of the tag from the very front of the book with the title. These are from Lori's shop called the Everyday Journal on Etsy. These are really fun to use. And so I've just got the definition of incantation on here. Here is some of the crinkly coffee dyed paper. And on the other side there's a flip out. It says let the sun shine in, and I have sewn some ruffled fabric here. It's a little bulb pin with some beads and a leaf. And here I basically just fussy cut some flowers from some napkins, and I've decoupaged them in the book in different places. And I really like the way that it looks because it doesn't look like you've decoupaged a napkin on there. It looks like it's on the paper. It's the other side of that textbook paper with some diagrams of butterflies. And then here is, I used another one of the sleeves from the card collecting things. There's some extra writing paper in the back, and then I made a couple of these small booklets with some of the images from the paper collection by Graphic 45. And I just put one of these in here so that she can maybe put a specimen in there or something. Here are this little scraps of paper, and I actually sewed this one together on the sewing machine. And there's a little pocket in here with a little sheet of scrap paper with a fly. Thought it was cool. Very, very gorgeous paper. Okay, on the other side there is this pocket that I made. It's 2 pieces of tracing paper, and inside is encased one of those flowers. And there's just a journaling card that I have distressed to the max. I actually did not mean to tear it, but I thought, hey, I'll sew it back on there, and it just makes it look so old and used. I love the effect of that. So here's a glassine bag, and I just took a page out of one of the Spiderwick Chronicles books that I have. It's got an image of a troll. Something began to surface, it says. Some lined writing paper with stamping and rub-ons, computer paper, and here's the other half of that gorgeous page from the Nature Sketchbook collection. And I didn't want to cut it off, so I just folded it over, used it as a little tuck spot with some writing paper and definition of hobgoblin on there. And just close it out with this giant paper clip. And on the other side, I just tucked this little tiny card that I backed with some paper. And that's the first signature. So I'll try to rush through the second signature. It's already at 27 minutes. So I've got some tassel trim down at the bottom. And there is a double tuck spot here with some oval tags that I have decoupaged some napkins on. This one I got from Dolly. Thank you, Dolly. Beautiful napkins. And here's another different napkin. And I just stamped the Graphic 45 little journaling stamp. 2 separate pieces of paper that I coffee dyed, and then added some little trims and little appliques. This side's another tracing paper ruffle that I've sewn on, and just an image from the Spiderwick book. This is a male wood elf. And then there's a some little information about the little different creatures. So a little clip here with some seam binding that I've dyed, and I did a few of these. They're just the appliques that I cut apart and dyed with some different sprays, and I've glued a little leaf here, and it's got some little dangly stuff. It's another copy of the Children's Encyclopedia ledger paper with a lace tab on the bottom. Another rub-on, and here's a little flap with a pocket that I made out of lace, and I sewed the lace on. And this was an image that was sent to me by April, and I just glued a bunch of glitter on there. It's a little fairy riding a bird. So cute. Little bulb pin here, and here's some music paper with more of the flowers that I decoupaged on. I love the way it looks, and it's very tedious, but I think the outcome is worth it. So on the other side, there's another fabric ruffle with a bulb pin, another of the book page pockets, and I made a bunch of these. I was inspired by Jibid. This one has a tag inside that says Snapdragon because these are some beautiful purple ones. And put that in later. And here's a little tuck here with another definition of garden. And I cut the top of the bottle, and these are those little Tim Holtz images, and I made it so that the butterfly's coming out of the bottle. So here's some lined writing paper that I folded like this. It's a little lace tab on the top, some decoupage napkin. And this is a large pocket that I made out of vellum and sewed it together, and inside an encyclopedia of horticulture, some ephemera, some of the beautiful pattern paper. There's a doily tuck here at the top, and on the other side is another book page pocket with a mushroom, and inside on the back it's got a tuck in the back. I can get it out. It's just a piece of an index card, and it's a little glassine envelope that I've decoupaged a napkin onto, and inside it's just a little image of a flower. Excuse me. Here's a little envelope that I've dyed, and I've started making these. I was inspired by Jibid again on one of the first videos I ever saw her use these. She makes tags out of vellum, and she just does the most incredible things. And so I basically just collaged different fabrics, and there's parts of tea bags and trims, and sewed it all together and sewed a heart. Put some little, made a little fabric ribbon at the top. I really love making those. Some paper with a fairy, and here's some more textbook paper. This one talks about mushrooms. And on the other side I made a double tuck pocket, some little strings here, out of parchment paper when I dyed the green papers. And there's just two little tags here from the Graphic 45 collection. Some writing paper, some more images from encyclopedias that I have. And then here is an envelope where I have, I sewed this image onto cardstock and then glued it to the envelope. Coffee dyed the envelope. It's just got extra writing paper, and I lost it. Held it together with this teeny tiny Tim Holtz paper clip. Here is another one of the tags that I made. This is a yellow pansy in a leaf. It's another image from one of my encyclopedias. Oh, here's another collage that I did, just different little cutouts. It's a wide paper ruffle, and she can tuck something in here if she'd like. It's another one of the little spiderweb creatures, and this is the characteristics of a mushroom, and so I got this image from Pinterest and sewed it to the page with some cheesecloth behind it. Writing space on the back. Here's the other side of the envelope with another little Hermelinda tag that I just decorated.